On November 19, 2015, during the Second World Internet Conference, China's President Xi Jinping made this statement about his country's internet system.
We should respect the right of individual countries to independently choose their own path of cyber development and model of cyber regulation and participate in international cyberspace governance.
He talked about China's sovereign internet, which many other nations are now looking to recreate. In 2019, Russia tested its national internet system called the RUNET.
Russia will unplug itself briefly from the global internet somewhere before the 1st of April.
Many countries are now building their own internet system. Iran created its own internet system called the HalalNet. In the wake of the data and internet boom, this debate on how open the internet should be has gotten regular worldwide. So what is causing the rise of the sovereign internet? And where does India stand in this debate? In order to understand the ongoing debate, it's paramount to know what data localization is. So let's say you're shopping on Amazon. You click on a few products and gaze at them for a few minutes. That data of what you're looking at and how long you're looking at them is used by big corporations to understand consumer wants and needs. Have you ever wondered where and how this data about your shopping behavior is stored and processed? This is where data localization laws come into play. Before the talks about data localization had started, data was stored partially within and outside a country's borders. Since the widely popular Cambridge Analytica scandal broke in 2016, countries started taking data privacy more seriously.
Do you think that Palantir has ever scraped data from Facebook?
Senator, I'm not aware of that.
In direct response to this, the EU sanctioned its seminal bill known as the General Data Protection Regulation within its member states and the European economic areas. It changed the way companies collected and stored consumer data. As a result of GDPR, the exportation of personal data outside of the EU was restricted. To summarize, data localization means that a country has a law in place that regulates the dissemination of its citizens' data from traveling overseas. In compliance to this law, foreign companies are required to store data of its users of a particular country inside its national borders. In February 2020, Pakistan proposed a bill called the Citizens Protection Rules, which requires companies to remove content that's deemed illegal and share the data with the operating government. Countries like Turkey, Vietnam, Brazil, Indonesia are also following Russia and China in this path towards adopting data localization as part of their legal framework, which is now instigating fragmentation or splintering of the internet worldwide. When these countries strengthen their data localization laws, they tend to ban apps and other digital products that don't abide by the said rules. The Trump administration in the US had offered threats to TikTok over concerns of data leak and misuse of the same.
We're looking at TikTok. We may be banning TikTok.
Advocates of internet freedom argue that such app bans could give rise to proxy apps who are willing to abide by data localization laws, as they are vulnerable enough to share citizens' critical and private information with the authorities. As a consequence, it gives the authoritarian governments an opportunity to censor the spread of certain information within its borders and outside. The Great Firewall of China is an accurate case in point. The question now comes to which side does the Indian government lean towards? A more open and free internet or regulated and censored internet? After 2014, India has seen a staggering increase in its number of internet shutdowns per year. This makes India's openness of the internet questionable. Internet shutdowns are also being used as a tool to curb voices of dissent. In a study done by the New America Foundation, many countries like Russia, China, Turkey, and even progressive countries like the US and UK are moving towards a more closed and censored internet. And India is on a similar trajectory. On June 29th, the Indian government banned 118 Chinese apps, including the popular social media app TikTok. And recently, the government banned 47 more Chinese apps. Although the Indo-China border conflict and national security are the stated reasons, these app bans seem more like an act to strengthen the control over the free internet for surveillance and censorship purposes. As of April, India had about 120 million active users on TikTok. Short video platforms like TikTok wasn't just another platform that Indians embraced and loved so much. It also acted as an important medium to mobilize for protests and other forms of social education and organization. The growing ubiquity that TikTok achieved in India transcended any form of language, class, caste, and religion barriers.
ये जन्नत से जान से प्यारा है हमें ये जन्नत सा वतन हमारा जूता भी पाकिस्तान नहीं जाने वाला.
Many of the small-scale artists and content creators depended on this platform for revenue. The ban's impact has ultimately fallen heavily on the marginalized. Pressure on social media platforms to abide by government data laws are growing as companies are forced to censor hate speech and misinformation. Crimes due to growing hate speech and fake news on social media platforms are also giving governments an opportunity to establish data localization laws that require companies to share the data with the government. India even voted along with Russia, China, and Turkey in a controversial UN cybercrime treaty, which many believe would make it easier for countries to cooperate to repress political dissent. It's clear from all of this that there's a growing sense of nationalism around the world and especially in India, which is going to alter the way we use the shared and collective internet. Countries under the garb of national security will raise barriers to restrict incoming and outgoing flow of information. The internet, as we've used for so long to express freely our thoughts and opinions, is transforming. The internet that has enabled many social revolutions like the Arab Spring is being redesigned to dampen these same revolutions from arising again.
No one's gonna go home.
Yemen.
We're in this till the end, even if it means we're gonna die.
And without a free and open internet, voices of individuals are lost during political and cultural movements, thus denying human progress.